Hello. This is my response to the video that The Amazing Atheist posted called Handicap Spaces Suck. Now I will start this off by saying not my alias, but my actual name. My name is Jerome Grant. I live here in the United States in Louisville, Kentucky. I was born and have lived with cerebral palsy for all my life. I don't use a wheelchair, but I do use orthopedic devices, and I would like to put in my 2 cents on the video that The Amazing Atheist posted on why handicap spaces suck. Well, one thing I think that, and this is to you, sir, that you fail to realize is, for one thing, it's not merely the proximity of the parking space to the building that is the issue behind the development of handicap parking spaces. Yes, it may be a nuisance to you because the space is closer than yours and you have to walk farther than an individual in a wheelchair would have to walk. Okay, I get that. It sucks. I know. Alright, I get that. However, the reason it's designed the way it's designed, if you look at it closely, normally you'll find 2 spaces on the edge of a parking lot, and between the 2 actual handicap spaces you'll find a hash-marked space. The reason for that is to allow for the lowering of a motorized lift for, those crippled bastards who prefer to be independent and drive themselves to places in a van or a minivan. It's so these individuals can actually exit their vehicle, whereas you may only need 2 or 3 feet of clearance to open your car door and step out. A wheelchair and the lift that lowers it may require a good 8 feet of clearance to lower it down and allow the person out of their vehicle. You're concerned that businesses are being robbed of their rights to place parking spaces where they choose, and that they're being forced to offer these handicap spaces to people. That they're going against their rights. But have you ever considered something extremely important? The idea that I'll also admit that I am black. I can tell, at least from your videos, that you are, I'm assuming, a Caucasian. Now, while I may never become a Caucasian, and while you may never become African American, there is one thing that you can become. You can become disabled, and you never know when or how. It could be a disease, it could be an accident. Things can happen that change what your abilities are. Have you ever considered that, for instance, Christopher Reeve was totally healthy up until his accident, and then suffered severe paralysis from his neck down? He was totally fine until that, and now he had to use a wheelchair up until his untimely passing. You could suffer a stroke, suffer severe brain damage, and lose the ability to move one half of your body. And then where will you be? How would you feel, for instance, if you had the ability to go to certain places before, and then you suffer an accident and are no longer able because you can't park your car, or you can't enter the building because the doors are too heavy, or that you can't get in because there are stairs in the way and there's no ramp for you to easily access the building? It's not that we're trying to be politically correct. We're trying to offer all citizens of this nation the right to go where they choose and to be where they choose. So stop thinking it's about political play and about appeasing this certain section of America that wants to be politically correct. It's about, and I'm assuming that you're also a humanist, being an atheist, allowing all humans to truly be equal, to give them equal access to the things that everyone should be able to enjoy. Like the ideas behind, gay marriage and, gays in the military, and the civil rights movements for African Americans, and the proper treatment of immigrants in this country, and so forth. We want everyone to be equal, and everyone to have the same chance to survive as everyone else. Well, this is one of those compromises. So please, before you hamper on the whole idea of handicap spaces sucking, please figure out, first off, why they exist, and what they really do. And I hope that nothing physical happens to you when you're aging. You never know what can happen to you. You never know what the future holds. If you ever end up disabled in some way, and they were to take those spots away, how would you survive? Have you ever considered that maybe this world is designed for people who aren't disabled? That it's designed more for individuals like yourself, or as I prefer to call them, two-leggers? It's amazing how I'm sure you support the civil rights movement for African Americans achieving their rights. Well, have you ever considered that the disabled are another minority? And that me particularly, I'm a dual minority? I've been looked at for both being black and being disabled. So imagine the kind of pigeonhole I'm in. But I'm not trying to get sympathy from anyone. I'm just trying to state that before you make these statements, please think about what you're saying first before you say it. Please think about the ramifications it will have. And I'm hoping that this is all just overblown and this is all just part of a comedic ideal that you're trying to reach. And I understand, because good comics are able to pick on everyone. I get that. But if you're a legitimate believer in this idea that handicap spaces suck, then please, you must stop referring to yourself as a rationalist, because you're not thinking rationally. Anyway, I'm Jerome Grant, also known as Mr. Grant 888. Let me know what you think.